I'm very happy today because Mr. Joshi, one of the leading thinkers of the country on energy and technology, has flagged off EVConIndia. So Siddharth, you know that not only is a great thinker, but also he is a very fine man. So you have blessings of both content and character for EVConIndia. I'm also very happy to see this turnout of leaders who are not only CEOs or CXOs or their nominees, but also they are thought leaders. I have heard many of you, and I'm sure, as Siddharth said, your presence itself, along with your interaction, will raise the caliber of the conversation once again here. And we are talking about what Mr. Joshi said looks like a zombie vehicle because it died in 1900 and revived in 2000s. So while it was hibernating, a lot of changes happened. So the scenario is extremely complex. Ecosystem is complex. There are several stakeholders, some entrenched and some aspiring. And there are strong convictions and vocal stances on either side. Rather than trying to address these specifics, I would like to share some lenses to look at the EV scenario. And I have tried to forge these lenses, looking at the past and also humbly trying to peep into the future. And I will illustrate these lenses or these viewpoints with the help of examples. And you are free to add during the course of the day more focal lens to these lenses, because if I'm missing anything, I'd like to know. And if you would like to negate a lens, feel free to do that also. So the first lens. When the light bulb was invented, one of the leading scientists of those times, Henry Morton, who had a huge followership and many others, ridiculed it and called it a conspicuous failure. They said that, can you imagine that there will be a power generation plant and it will be having transmission systems taking the electricity to the city, and then wires taking that electricity to your homes to light up that light bulb? But what happened? A powerful product attracted its own infrastructure. Coming closer home to the automobile sector, when the gasoline vehicle won the race against the steam and the electric engine, that time gasoline was only available in chemist shops. And you were lucky to get a gallon. You had to get a pint here, a quart there. Lucky to get a gallon, only in chemist shops. But it was a good product. The ecosystem, which seemed untenable at that time, evolved. It forced it to evolve. So similarly, I feel the electric vehicle also will attract its own ecosystem, will seed its ecosystem, will nurture its ecosystem because of its promise. The second lens, through the second lens, I would like to look at product augmentation. Again, when the oil engine won, the fuel which ran the earlier automobile was coking oil, crude and highly polluting. But this coking oil has gone several stages of refinement. And today, it is much better than what it was. Even the mining process is far less polluting than what it was. The refrigerators earlier ran on gases which used to make the appliance explode. Then Freon came and they became safe. And now Freon has also been replaced. It has been replaced by CFC-free gases. which means what? That the product first became safe for the consumer and then it became safe even for the society. So similarly, if those things like, let us say, a thermal plant, energy coming from a thermal plant may pollute the environment today, tomorrow this thermal plant itself may become less polluting, and it is also possible that other renewable energies overtake the attractiveness of thermal energy, and which is happening. So that is the second lens which I would like you to look at the EV scenario. The third lens, let me borrow an example from mobility industry to illustrate that. The aeronautics industry, with its huge investment in resources and huge manpower, could scarcely believe that the aeroplane was not invented by it, but by two bicycle makers. Wright brothers were bicycle makers. So bicycle makers made the aeroplane. Moreover, closer home if we come, the electric car was also not invented by the Toyotas or the other leading automobiles companies of the world, but it was invented by Tesla. So the third lens which I would like to present is, if you are well entrenched, you can look the other way when the threat comes, but the threat will not go away by your looking the other way. Also, you can stall your neighbors from attacking you, but the attack may come from far-flung lands, from other sectors. Here is where the government should look at inclusive innovation, where potential losers of through a particular technology are made beneficiaries of the new technology. For example, when the CFC free movement started, companies which were existing producers of CFCs, like DuPont, were involved in the process of finding substitutes for CFCs. So you were hit, you will be hit, but you will also be a beneficiary. You can also go for inclusive innovation by redefining the product category being pursued, as Mr. Joshi also mentioned. From electric vehicles, if you define the new playground as emission-free vehicles, then you automatically open up the field for plug-in hybrids, biofuel, ethanol, hydrocarbons, hydrogen and so on. So having said that, I would also like to add that earlier it was sufficient to say, नहीं जमते ये जमीन आसमान तो छोड़ दे इनको, नहीं जमते ये जमीन आसमान तो छोड़ दे इनको, लेकिन पहले नए जमीन आसमान पैदा कर ले. For those who do not understand Hindi, if you do not like the current sky and earth, abandon it, but first build another new sky and earth. But this is no longer relevant. Internet came, and the fear was that now all the education will happen on the internet. So schools will be gone, colleges will be gone. All the shopping will happen on the internet. So malls will be gone, shops will be gone. But today, lot of shopping and lot of education does happen on the internet. But the malls and the schools also survive. That means, अब एक जमीन आसमान ही होगा ये जरूरी नहीं है. It is not necessary there will be only one firmament. There could be several sets of skies and earths. So it is quite possible, and I think that is actually how things are going to move, that multiple technologies in the emission-free world will compete for this sector, for the automobile space. However, the necessary transformation should take place with the minimum of disruption, an adverse socio-economic impact on industrial growth and employment. But it should happen, because the opposite of change is stasis, which is much more dangerous, where the risk of inaction is much greater. And the last lens I would like to build on the space or on the thought that resource hurdles should not be seen as a reason to stop progress. World mineral reserves is often discussed in the EV debate. But world mineral reserves are constantly revised. In 1950, the estimated copper reserves totaled 100 million pounds, 100 million tons. Next 50 years, copper produces extracted 339 million tons. That means actually 3.5 times of what the reserves were considered. Why? Because a new technology came, SXEW technology. Earlier, you could extract copper only from copper sulfides, but now you could do it from copper oxides. We ran out of the mineral cryolite. Cryolite was vital to the manufacture of aluminium. However, has aluminium production come down? No, it has grown. And quality has also grown. That means substitutes have been found. So not only in the natural mineral world, but also in the market, the behavior which pioneering communities adopt also expand the resources. There were 500 automobile companies which were born in the first few years of the discovery of the automobile. They shared patents, they shared tools, ideas. That means, in some ways, you can say, they were all small, so I can say, चींटियां साथ साथ रहती हैं, चींटे अलग अलग रहते हैं. Small ants stay together. Big ants live separately. That means that small ant behavior can be seen now also, and in the second half of the session, when I am interviewing one of my friends here, I will share with you that people are sharing their resources with other people in the same space, other EV manufacturers, thus expanding the total resource pool. So these were the 4 lenses which I wanted to speak to you about. And if you have a moment, I will also tell you about something called Cobra effect. And I will tell you why I'm speaking about it. So Cobra effect, this term comes from colonial India, where the British government realized that in Delhi there are a lot of venomous cobras. So it announced a scheme where every dead cobra which is brought, a person who brings that will be given a reward. So a lot of dead cobras were brought. The scheme was initially successful. But soon enterprising people started breeding cobras. And when the government came to know about this, they scrapped the program. And when they scrapped the program, the cobra breeders released the excess inventory which was worthless now. So eventually there were more cobras in Delhi than before this scheme. So Cobra effect refers to a very common effect, which means that it is referring to the unintended consequences of well-intentioned schemes. These may happen because of limited view of human nature. Today, the Cobra effect can also happen because of limited understanding of technology. So, and to be fair to the government, Cobra effect is not only there in the government. Cobra effect is found in the private sector, in the NGO sector, but coming back to the government, there may have been some flip-flops, but the government also needs to be better educated. And I feel that this community can really distill the learnings and present it to the government in a manner where the government, whenever it is trying to dive, sometimes it takes off wrongly from the diving board.
this community or such community should be able to help it correct itself mid-air so that it lands on the surface of the water and the dive is 10 on 10. So this is another area which we will look at as to what is the distilled essence. How can this process really become better considered, involve various stakeholders, educate the public, etc., along with the government. So this is what I broadly wanted to present to you. You are free to add focal lengths to what I have said. And lastly, I would like to compliment Siddharth on a job well done. I would also, I'm very happy to note, as I've learned in the past also, that your expert panel is growing very well. There are many people who you will be happy to have on your panel from this illustrious group. So I wish you the best for that, and wish you also the best for the Green Circle. We are living on a beautiful but delicate planet, and somewhere you will be joining the voices which are talking about its vulnerability and which hope will someday be able to ring fence it from our constant attacks. Thank you very much.